How do I distinguish between professional and personal relationships with all the relationship building advice? I love this question. This is a great question, right? I want to treat my clients and colleagues with kindness and respect, etc., but I don't want to have the kind of vulnerability or time investment I have with my friends and family, nor am I sure that would be appropriate. What are the actual expectations for professional relationship building? Oh my God, it's a great question. So here's my thought. Now, some of this comes from a colleague of mine, Ari Galper, and he said something. Now, what I'm about to say is going to sound counterintuitive, and it will sound like the opposite of what you might expect me to share. You don't start with relationship building. Relationship
Okay.
building comes second. It's not what we lead with. Now, if it's with hubs, that might be a bit different. With hubs,
Hmm.
sometimes you got to get to know them. You got to build a bit of trust before they're going to
I have
go.
no clue. I just see everywhere. The important thing to do is build relationships, but my idea for me, relationship means friends and family. And so I don't have like there's like some foundational stuff that I just don't have.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, let me riff on this. So, right, so the relationship stuff comes second. Second to what? Second to figuring out if there's even a basic fit here. Because if you do the relationship building without the fit stuff, that's schmoozing, right? That's building the relationship in the hopes that they're going to buy. And
Hmm.
then that becomes another iteration of the manipulation. That becomes another iteration of the coercion. So instead of that, it's like if you go to a doctor, right, and you're hurting, what you don't want is the doctor to spend the whole session saying, so like, yeah, what are you into? What do you, oh, you like a Doctor Who? That's my favorite TV show. Wow, cool. Hey, and what do you do for fun? And yeah, hey, what's your astrology sign? There's a certain point where you're like, okay, I'm here because I'm hurting. Can you help me or not? Because if they can help you and they're going to be useful, okay, now we can start talking, right? And things can open up a bit. But if we lead with that, I just think it's misdirected drive. So to me, the goal is we get really clear on our niche, we get really clear on our point of view, really clear offers. And then if people decide to lean in, then relationship building can come after that. And I don't think that there's anybody has any expectations that we as a practitioner, as a coach, are their best friend. And in fact, I think it's probably good to have some clear boundaries around that of what feels right for you. Now, this is important. Everyone's going to have a different sense of this. Some people, it's like, nope, there's a very clear cut boundary, and other people, it's not. As long as you feel good about it and they feel good about it, everything's fine. Yeah, I think you've got it. You want to treat your clients and colleagues with kindness and respect. Boom, perfect. And then I don't want to have the kind of vulnerability or time investment I have with my friends and family. Right. So don't. Yeah, I think, and then that can be part of I mean, this can be stated or not stated, but it is the kind of thing you could, in your intake forms or in the first session, you could talk about. Let's like, look, this is my understanding of professional boundaries, or, for example, sometimes, and again, this may not even be a thing. But I know sometimes people will have their clients wanting to text them in between sessions or email them, or they're sort of pushing the boundaries of time. They didn't really pay for, oh, but just a quick thing, a quick thing. And so it can be good if that becomes a problem to say, here's the parameters. Like we'll talk during sessions. I don't really respond to texts other than for logistical things, but we're not going to, the sessions don't extend into texting or that. Often that probably won't even need to be discussed, but maybe if it starts to come up with a certain client, you can say, hey, I just want to clarify the parameters here. And yeah, and if you want to talk about this, just bring it to the next session and I'm happy to. Yeah, there is a real time management that's needed as a coach because people will just email you and say, hey, can I just pick your brain for five? I just got a quick question. And most of the time, those are not quick questions, actually. And so I'll just reply in the email. It's like, hey, that's a great question. I'd love to chat about that. Here's a link to book a session if you'd like to. That's it. And then they either do or they don't. And if they do, they were serious. And if they don't, they probably weren't. And I just don't think our clients need us to be their best buddy. They're not looking for a pal. They're looking for somebody who can help us we want somebody to help us get from A to B. That's what we're looking for. And yes, then we can be cordial and kind, occasionally remember a birthday, why not? But like, I don't think that's what they want. I think people get so confused about that and then hurt. But like, we became like friends. But then the client looks at you and is like, hey, I'm so close to you, I can't even hire you anymore. Because now we're like friends. It's like, fuck. So yeah, and which may be fine if you genuinely become friends, and then that might be an appropriate shift. But If the whole thing was I'm doing this in order to grow my business, I don't think that's the best strategy. I think the best strategy is you say, okay, I know who I want to help and what I want to help them with. I know what my point of view is. I know what my offers are. Great. And then you go to the hubs thing. You say, okay, where would I find people who are likely struggling with this island A who want to get to this island B? And then let me get in front of them, share my point of view, share my approach, and see who leans in. And none of that requires relationship building. There you go. Thanks for the question, Kimberly.